Elon has announced that Tesla is putting a hold on accepting Bitcoin as payment for Tesla cars. Now, why is that interesting? So, I think it's safe to say that Elon is a unique person. He made a ton of money in the early days of the internet when he helped create PayPal. So PayPal was an idea that they came up with where they're going to do bank transactions on the internet. I know that sounds like super simple today and it's something that we all do. However, it was a very unique time and a lot of people weren't going to just kind of plow into this. So once he started this, people started chomping at the bit and he was able to help persuade eBay to use PayPal as their form of transaction. So rather than having to write checks, send those in the mail. I do remember these days of actually sending physical checks for items that you're buying on eBay. But once they bought PayPal, it became much, much, much easier to make transactions. So Elon made $165 million off this transaction. He was only like 22 years old. So he had a ton of money that he was sitting on. And what did he do with that? What would most people do with it? A lot of people would invest it in something that's going to be safer. They would educate themselves on something else, start a different business with a small amount of money, be diversified. Not Elon. Elon took almost all of this, about 100 million. Now you had to pay tax on the 165. So he took $100 million and got involved in a space exploration program, conference type of thing that all had to do with Mars. So he put $100 million into this, and this became the start of SpaceX. Space exploration technologies, something like that. So he started that with a huge funding that he got from the PayPal buyout. Now he was working 22 hours a day. He lived in his office. He had virtually no social life. Like he was just working and working and working. And when he wasn't working, he liked to have a good time. So for instance, when he turned 30, he and a bunch of his friends rented out a castle, a legit castle, like not Chuck E. Cheese or something like that, but an actual castle so that they could go play hide and go seek for his 30th birthday party. Probably not what I'm going to do, but okay. At another party, they rented or hired a sumo wrestler to come so that Musk could wrestle against him while onlookers watched. Like, these are the kind of things that outside thinkers do, I guess, and I have not had an opportunity to do that yet, or had the idea, but maybe I should look into that. So I think it's also safe to say that he's a very, very successful person. I mean, he started, that he's from Tesla, he's from SpaceX, but he's also started the Boring Company, talking about digging tunnels. He helped start PayPal. He also started a satellite internet company. I forget what it's called. It's an expensive internet company, but it's going to be able to provide internet for anyone and any place in the world. It may not make sense for you if you already have internet, but if you don't, that'd be a good option. But he's made so much money at these companies. That's where most of his money is. It's in these holdings. A lot of people would say that $1 million is a lot of money. So that would make Elon Musk a very, 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 very wealthy person. So here's what I want to show you. This here is $1 million. Yes, that dot that's right there, that's not a smudge on your computer or your phone. That's an actual depiction of $1 million. So here, I'll make it blank, and now there's the million. Do you see the million? Okay, so that's $1 million. So Elon has something like 155 billion. You just say it casually, 155 billion. So that's the million right there. How many millions does that make Elon? Elon has $155,000 million. So what does that look like compared to the million that I'm showing? So yeah, that's a big number. That is a big number. It's hard to grasp how much money that is. Now, he's not even the richest person in the world anymore. Jeff Bezos has like 190 billion. Of course, Elon's lost 30 billion this year because of different statements that he's made. on the internet and Tesla going up and down because most of his money is in his company holdings. So it's not like he's sitting on this pile of cash, but that's his net worth. So he's been in the news a lot recently because of his comments about Dogecoin, or that he hosted SNL this past weekend. And if you watched SNL, it was, I don't know. It wasn't funny. It wasn't even entertaining. It was very hard to take, as it usually is. But a lot of people were hopeful that there would be something about that episode that would be interesting. And I got to tell you, it just wasn't. So on April 24th, it was announced that Elon would be hosting the show. At that time, Dogecoin was trading at 24 cents. So 24 cents per Doge, which was still sky high compared to the beginning of the year. At the beginning of the year, it was like less than a penny, so it had already gone up to 24 cents because he had said stuff like, Doge to the moon and all that kind of stuff, which was repeated on SNL. Then, on May 8th, so just this past Saturday, the show was airing. And during it, it got up to 74 cents. So this was an increase of about 300%. That's pretty high. So after the show, during the show, he didn't do the coin a lot of justice. He wasn't able to explain it very well. He didn't actually explain it at all. He just said, it's just Doge, And he was on there joking about it with his mom, and his mom, it was almost Mother's Day. Mother's Day was the next day. And he said that he had a good present for her. And she said, I hope it's just not Doge. So, and he said it is, like it's a joke, like you don't want to receive that. So it kind of hurt the currency there. So right after, it went down and down and down, and it's still going down. And today it hit, I think it's about 40 cents right now. Of course, that could change by the time that this video uploads and processes because of how volatile this situation is. But it got down to about 40 cents. And the next day, he gets on Twitter and says that the next SpaceX mission is going to be completely funded by Doge. It's a weird move, right? Like, he had a platform to really rise it, and then he actually just destroyed it. And then he says that his next space mission is going to be funded by Doge. It's just a weird cycle of events. Now, lately, he said that Tesla will no longer be able to accept Bitcoin. Now, I'm going to read his tweet word for word. Tesla has suspended vehicle purchases using Bitcoin. We are concerned about rapidly increasing use of fossil fuels for Bitcoin mining and transactions, especially coal, which has the worst emissions of any fuel. Cryptocurrency is a good idea on many levels, and we believe it has a promising future. But this cannot come at a great cost to the environment. Tesla will not be selling any Bitcoin, and we intend to use it for transactions as soon as mining transitions to a more sustainable energy. We are also looking at other cryptocurrencies that use less than 1% of Bitcoin's energy transaction. So I don't know if you know, but the majority of electricity in this company, in this economy, comes from burning coal. It's like 60% of our country's energy comes from coal that comes in the form of electricity. And did you know that Tesla is an electric car? That means that in order to charge your Tesla, it has a huge battery, right? A very, very, very heavy car. Doesn't use any gas. Great. So you don't see the emissions coming out of the car. Whoa. The energy comes from the electric plant, which is burning coal to generate the electricity. So you plug something into the wall, you're using coal. Now he's saying that coal is the worst emission that you can have as a fuel source. And yet that's powering the majority of the Tesla cars. So it just seems kind of hypocritical here that someone that's saying that this is the worst fuel source, however, I'm building a company that's using this fuel source, and now I'm not going to allow a currency to be traded for my service or my good because of the amount of coal that it's used to mine for it. It just seems very hypocritical. However, you don't get to be worth $155 billion without some interesting interesting choices. And he's made a lot of interesting choices. And to say that he's a dummy, that is not what I'm trying to say at all. I'm just saying that he's a very interesting person, and I'm sure that there's something up his sleeve. It seems kind of shady, shady, but hey, we'll see what's going to happen. I'm sure that everyone's going to be continuing to read his tweets and just follow whatever he has to say. Every time that he says something, it really makes markets move. So it'll be interesting to see what he has to say about this. This just came out 20 hours ago, so stay tuned. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.